Hey, skip to this timestamp if you just want to start the video, because I'm going to talk about something personal. You staying? Alright. My uncle died. Yeah, I don't know how else to say that. It's just been a lot. Especially because it was so sudden and he was my mom's youngest brother, and it doesn't feel real, you know? It's not fair. You know, I don't know how to put into words how this kind of thing feels, but I do know that he'd want me to continue on doing what I love, because I remember even in my worst mental health moments when I was a kid, he was always really encouraging. I miss you, Icho. So I was watching this video a while ago of some guy spraying his feet with Flex Seal, and while watching this man improvise some spray-on shoes, I had a thought. Some doll accessories are basically a vinyl rubber polymer, so I could, in theory, use Flex Seal to make some spray-on doll shoes. Which is what we're gonna do today. Hey friendles, I'm Kendall, and I can't believe this needs to be said, but please don't go spraying any part of your body with Flex Seal. Let's get started. First things first, we need a test subject. And this doll I modified in a previous video will do nicely. She does need a pair of shoes, and I also can't remember where I put all of my doll shoes. I also needed to acquire some Flex Seal, so I made my errands list and grabbed it at my local big box store, along with some Chingus food. Before commencing the flexioning, I needed to prepare the doll. Here's when I needed to do that. Needed some cling wrap, tape, doggy bags, and rubber bands. I cut 2 slits in the doggy bag and pulled the doll's legs through them, giving her an upside-down dress. I tied the top closed with a rubber band, concealing her top half to protect her from the flexioning. Using some plastic wrap, I cling wrapped her leggies, both to protect them from the Flex Seal spray and because one layer of cling wrap is going to become part of the shoe. The cling wrap that's going to become part of the shoe is wrapped more meticulously to better capture the leg silhouette. I also made sure to apply multiple cling wrap layers so the final shoe doesn't end up being too tight on the foot. A ring of masking tape around the legs will be peeled off to make a clean edge for the shoe. And now that that's done, it's time to get flexed! Before I commence the flexioning, I've had another thought. Flex Seal kind of functions like rubber and silicone, so what if I spread some Vaseline on a pair of doll legs to act as a mold release? I grabbed an old doll custom that I will never finish and decided to test the theory. And just as I was about to record the whole doggy bag wrapping process a second time, my phone's memory filled up again. So I did it off camera while I was loading the footage on my computer. Once that was taken care of, I lubed the leggies, and it was off to commence the flexioning. The process was pretty straightforward. I just had to spray the seal, give it a flip, spray again, and give it time to cure. After a few hours, I sprayed another layer, and in total I did this about 4 times. Flex Seal is pretty smelly, by the way. It takes about 1 to 2 days for this stuff to fully cure, so I left them outside for a while before bringing them inside. Before I can release the leggies, the plastic wrap needs to be chopped off. Pulling the tape left a clean edge, but it also revealed how thin the Flex Seal is. One doll has Flex Seal shoes over cling wrap cast, try saying that 5 times fast, while the other has Vaseline separating it from the Flex Seal. So now we're gonna see how these dolls fared. Using the sharpest X-Acto knife that I own, I got these at a Tractor Supply on clearance and it upgraded my X-Acto blades from shitty knives to shitty knives. Oh lowdy, these were a great investment. I cut a slit down her legs, being as careful as I could to not scrape the doll's body. And the shoes came off quite easily after that. When it came to the Vaseline doll, things were pretty different. Cutting through it was oddly squishy, and trying to take it off was, well, it wasn't gonna come off in one piece. Not without heavy distortion. I was kinda hoping I could use Flex Seal and Vaseline as a cheap substitute for silicone molds, but that doesn't look like it's happening. The Flex Seal cling wrap shoes are still usable, so I decided to carry on with them. I used some epoxy to give them a heel. Since the Flex Seal base was so squishy, this was surprisingly stressful. I kept worrying I was going to warp or tear the shoe by accident, but I got through it eventually, leaving them alone to cure for a few days. Once cured, I wet sanded the bottom of the shoes, just trying to make them as smooth and leveled as the texture of sprayed-on Flex Seal is going to allow. As you can see, the epoxy discolored the shoes, so I opted to give them another spray of Flex Seal to make them look uniform while also accidentally Flex Sealing the ground. Don't tell my landlord. We now have our shoe base, but they look kinda basic and boring, don't they? I had this thought that I could add some texture variation with embroidery thread and leather string, so yeah, we're gonna do that. I kinda struggled with it at first, trying to get the string to stick to the boot and all, but I made it work eventually. I mainly used the leather thread as an accent thingy, but I had to super glue it since it was so thick and inflexible. The Flex Seal boots do have a tendency to flare out at the opening, so I used some embroidery thread to sew in a crisscross tying closure, which I ended up doing a few times over because I'm way too much of a perfectionist for my own good. And here's the result. A slip dress with some unconventional shoes. I like them. They're not feminine in the way you would expect for a Barbie doll, but I think y'all know by now my femininity fluctuates between Steve Buscemi in full-on Lolita and Phil Swift in spray-on shoes. If you'd like to see more from me, my socials are linked below. I'm always drawing something, so check that out if you'd like. And if no one told you today, the world wouldn't be the same without you. Know that you're valued and you make my world a better place every day. Hope you've had a happy Valentine's Day, happy Lunar New Year, and shalom everyone! I don't condone or recommend any attempts to replicate this in any way.
¿Tiene frío? Sí.